Now we come to the second Ariyan truth. The second Ariyan truth is the cause of suffering. And the cause of suffering basically is because there is existence. As long as you have existence, there is suffering. Now the cause of existence is birth or rebirth. Okay? Now what is the cause of rebirth? The cause of rebirth is craving. That's the normal translation for the Pali word tanha. Okay? So in the Buddha's teachings, the cause of suffering is normally given as craving, tanha. Now this word tanha literally means a thirst, kind of thirst, a kind of like unquenchable thirst. So that is the meaning of craving. Now, there are three types of craving. Craving for sensual desire, craving for existence, and craving for non-existence. Now, craving for sensual desire, just now I've already spoken at a certain length on this. The restless nature of living beings makes them discontented, and they crave to satisfy their desires through the senses, because that's all they know. For a normal person, this discontentment you want to satisfy, just like the leper that itch he wants to satisfy. And the only way to satisfy this discontentment is to distract ourselves through the senses, and we try to satisfy our desires through the senses, things like sex, food, shows, music, luxurious living, etc. Now of all these sensual desires, the desire for sex is probably the highest, strongest. And because this desire, sensual desire, living beings, that means normal, ordinary living beings, die unsatisfied, discontented, with the flames of desire unquenched. So because of that, rebirth occurs again. That is the craving that causes, the sensual desire craving that causes a rebirth. The second one is existence, the craving for existence. Now of all these three types of craving, probably the craving for existence is the strongest. And this craving for existence is actually the will to live. The will to live. This will to live is nature's way for every species to preserve itself. That is why in every living being there is a sense of an I, a self. And because of this I, this self, we naturally tend to protect the self and we become selfish. And we wish to perpetuate this self. So because of that, when a person is dying, the will to live is so strong that it generates it's like a flame. The flame is about to die off. But because of the will to live, it bursts into flames again. It's just like the fire, you are burning some wood and leaves and all that. Sometimes it's almost like the fire is almost dead. And you see only smoke. And after a while, suddenly, the thing bursts into flames again because there's still something unburned there. So, this will to live is the hardest to overcome because it is the strongest of all cravings. And that is why the attainment of arahanthood the ending of the round of rebirths. Arahant is one who has broken the wheel of existence, the wheel of the round of rebirths, because Arahant comes from two words. Arahant actually comes from the word Arahatta, Ara and Hatta. These two words, Ara and Hatta. Ara means the spokes of the wheel. Hatta means is destroyed, broken up. So Arahatta or Arahant is one who has broken the wheel of the cycle of rebirth. So the attainment of Arahanthood is the greatest attainment, the greatest act anyone can carry out. It is also the noblest. Why is it the noblest? Because that is the most difficult thing to do, to give up the self. And also the Arahant is the most compassionate being. Nowadays people don't understand. They say the Arahant is a selfish being. That's the most ridiculous statement, because the Arahant is one who has given up the self. And when a person has given up the self, he has no self. It also means he sees that all living beings are himself. He is one with every living being. So if every living being is he himself, how can he harm another living being? Right? That is why the Arahant is the most compassionate person in the world. You cannot find another person more compassionate than an Arahant. In the Buddha's teaching, a Bodhisattva is still selfish because he still has the self. He still hasn't attained to that higher stage of Arahanthood. Bodhisattva still has not completed the full evolution, spiritual evolution. He's still somewhere halfway. So because he has the self, he's still selfish. Whereas the Arahant has no self, and he is the most compassionate being. Now the third type of craving is the craving for non-existence. This craving for non-existence that causes rebirth is a bit interesting. Now, why does craving for non-existence bring about rebirth? This person who craves for non-existence, he doesn't want to exist, and yet that is the cause for existence. The first type is like a person who is so sick with life, who he cannot stand the dukkha in life, that he commits suicide. Just as nowadays you read in the papers, so a large stockbroking company in Japan closed down, and one of the directors, clutching all his share certificates, used to be worth millions of dollars, now worthless. Holding all his share certificates, he jumped from a tall building to his death. So this kind of person, he can't take life anymore. So he wants to end existence. But because he's not ready to end existence, his mind is so agitated that is the very cause for existence. People don't understand that Nibbana literally means the Pali word Nibbana, cool. It means cool. You see, the English term, I always tell you, be cool, play it cool, right? Don't get agitated. That's what it means. Don't get agitated. Because when you are agitated, you can't be cool. So you cannot enter Nibbana if you're not cool, if you're agitated. And this person who's craving for non-existence, he's agitated when he commits suicide. He's so agitated that he cannot enter Nibbana. Impossible to enter Nibbana, because Nibbana is a cool state. So that is why you can see why when a person commits suicide, that itself is the cause for rebirth. Now the other aspect of the craving for non-existence is excessive desire in practicing the spiritual path. Practicing the spiritual path. There are some people, they meditate, they want to end the dukkha, they want to end rebirth, but they are very agitated, they practice too hard, and the desire to end suffering and to attain Nibbana is too great. Such a person with too much desire also can never succeed, because he is not playing it cool. There's one sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 5.89, where it is said that one cause for a monk failing in the holy life is that he does not reflect on the mind as freed. It's strange, that the mind is basically already freed. We don't understand it. And we keep on trying to get out of samsara. Actually, if we understand the teachings of the Buddha, then we come to realize that this world is our creation. Because the Buddha said, the world arises dependent on consciousness. So because we are agitated, we see the world arise in our mind. And in this world, you see your body inside the world. And if you don't understand this, you strive very hard to liberate yourself. But basically, if we don't use this mind, then the mind straight away becomes cool. As long as we keep on using this mind and trying to strive, that is a mistake. That's why the Buddha said he does not reflect on the mind as freed. So it is suttas like this which are very important for us to understand. That is why it is very, very important to listen to the suttas. We don't listen to the suttas, you keep on practicing very hard. The more you practice, the more you keep yourself in samsara. Why? Because you have excessive desire, and that is not playing it cool. So these are the three types of craving that causes to stay in samsara, that causes to take rebirth. Craving for sensual desires that cannot be satisfied. The second one is craving for existence, the strongest craving, which immediately, as you die, brings about rebirth. The third one is craving for non-existence, this agitated state of mind, which also brings about rebirth.